Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Love is Blind UK Season 1, Episodes 10 and 11. Now, Chris, I am very intrigued on this week because I'm not sure even how we summarise this one, but where would you like to start today?
Well, I must admit, Dave, I think they've segmented the episodes incorrectly, to be honest, because we had episode 1 to 4, that's fine. We should have had episode 5 to 8, because obviously me being on my holiday, I come back then and I said, right, I'm going to race through them. I'd made a commitment that I was going to maybe watch when I was away, and you were pissing yourself going, oh, that's going to be great when you're away. Sam's going to be really happy with you. And I'm like, no, I'll get time. Didn't watch any of them. You were completely correct. You know me too well. So from the Sunday to we recorded on the Tuesday, it was like, right, I've got to get these episodes watched. So I'm not watching them. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at episode 8 thinking, right, I'm ready to record. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Because there's fucking 9. I'm like, oh, you are joking. So they went from 4 episodes in the first segment to 5 in the second, which is ridiculous. So that balls me up completely. So it didn't balls me up, but I was like, what's going on here? Are these last 2 episodes the wedding? Then there's the reunion, but no, it was 2 finale episodes, and I still think they should have maybe had 3 this week because I can't remember the American one because we've watched them, and I know they're not always like the wedding ones. You have the scandal when one ditches the other, and there is people we'll talk about. But I felt as if the best episodes were behind us by the time we got to this week. I mean, we have got the reunion coming up, which is on Netflix tomorrow, which is the bank holiday in the UK. So we'll be watching that. We will sort of wrap that up next week. But I sort of felt like it was a little bit of a damp squib towards the end, sadly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if it's the chopping up of the episodes or, like you say, maybe they wanted to just keep the weddings, to the last section, if you like. But it is a bit of a weird slog, and with it only being the 2 episodes, it just felt like you'd pretty much finished them before you started them. I think there's the editorial piece, but also I don't think we had any surprises at all. There was nothing really that jumped out and you're like, oh my God, what are they going to do? Are they going to go this way? Are they going to go that way? It just all pretty much went how we thought it would. I mean, we'll get into the individual couples later. I think the only minor surprise was maybe Demi saying no to Ollie, but I think apart from that, it pretty much went the way you thought it would. And so it all just contributed to like you say, a bit of a damp squib, really. It just has sort of fizzled out. So I'm hoping that maybe, we get a bit of drama with the reunion, which comes out on Monday. But a little bit of a fizzling out at the end there.
Yeah, and I agree because I felt like they were treading over the same things and the same sort of insecurities, the same sort of conversations that we'd already had previously. So if we start with saying Nicole and Benaya, obviously with Sam Dean gone, finished, that's still there in the background, isn't it? Benaya's still going on about that. And then his mum and sister couldn't come because there was one of the relatives wasn't very well, so his uncle in Germany. I totally understand that. So I've got their blessing, went through all that. There was a little bit, they're clever with the way they set it up to every couple. You're sort of thinking, is this really going to happen? I think there's only one couple, actually, I want to talk about who did surprise, but all the others I pretty much could call as I was watching it. But them two say yeah. Seem pretty happy. I don't think. I mean, she's been previously married. She's been divorced as well. Obviously, I hope she was divorced to go on this show, Dave. Otherwise, there's some problems getting remarried. I think the police might be there. But yeah, I don't know. It just, them two, I'm not buying it at all. It just feels like your reality TV fodder. They coupled her up with someone because of what had happened with Sam. There was a little bit of a story there. He's a free spirit. His sister even says in these episodes, he'll just get up one day and literally just go somewhere. Well, how are you going to do that when you're married? You can't, can you? You've got bills. Is Nicole then going to become a free spirit and they're just going to travel the world in the bare feet? I don't get it.
She might have a spare bedroom, which is why.
Yeah, possibly.
He's eyeing her up. Yeah, I mean, not so much even, I would say, when you're married, but like you get married, don't you? And then usually A goes to B, you're thinking about, within a few years, you're thinking about kids. I think that's the bit where, you can't just be, oh yeah, I'm living in this great house and I don't have to pay rent. Yay me, I'm winning on life. And it's like, okay, but it just isn't really going to work, is it? And he's got a decent job, as he describes it, at least. Again, it seems a bit odd. It's not like he can't afford rent. But yeah, I don't really hold out much hope for these for the long term. It does seem, they were probably going to get together. I was about 80% sure they both would. It'd have to be some real left field stuff, which we have seen in this franchise, haven't we? The first season. Only just popped into my head, but there was the girl, wasn't there, or the lady who the couple looked like they were very much gonna both get married.
Oh yeah,
and then
she
just decided, right, that there was no clue at all about it.
Yes,
she just
right.
The only thing I remember from that first season is she just went into very much detail about how she wanted to have an explosive orgasm or something, and they hadn't had sex at this point, but she described what her expectations were, and she just sacked him off right at the end, and so we have seen it in this franchise. So there's always a little bit of doubt, but yeah, it's pretty much certain the way these were going to go. But longer term, I don't know. Maybe I'd put about 6 months maybe on this.
I think so. And now, bear in mind, Dave, we're talking about the reunion. Now, the reunion, which is interesting for this show, this was all filmed last August. The whole weddings, the whole couple. So I'm presuming they've all had to be, which we've seen with other shows we've covered, especially the Netflix stuff. It's filmed literally a year ago. The reunion has only just been shot in August 2024, so they've had a full year. So this will be the full test to see it. And I don't have to do my roving reporter, Dave. I did say last week the Chris Phelps. I'll just check on Google. Are they still together? Where are they now? And then say it as if like I've done like hours and hours of research. We're going to get to find that out and it is up to date information. It's not one of them where it's like, at the time of print they were together. We're talking a couple of weeks. So that'll be interesting to see if this experiment's worked and if it was all for like the TV side of it, the fame and everything. So I'm quite looking forward to that for the reunion. But yeah, for them two, I would have given 6 months. I'd be amazed if these are still together. Now, Dave, one of the other couples that I was surprised which person said no, but I wasn't surprised with the outcome was Freddie and Catherine. So with Catherine's been a nightmare. I mean, we were talking, I know some people had actually been talking in the group and that, and then me and Sam were talking, she said she's always used to being rejected because she was adopted and her mum and dad, she doesn't know a biological mum and dad. She's always been like rejected. So for her, she's obviously always been treated well. She's always been spoiled by her parents because, they've adopted her. They're trying to make up for that. I totally understand it. And that's where at times you get this like pampered princess thing. But then on the flip side, Freddie, because he works in a funeral parlor, even when he's saying something nice, it's like he's talking to someone who's, one of the customers at his job because there's no fucking emotion. Not one of the ones laying in the bed, Dave, laying in the casket, because they're definitely not fucking speaking to them. But he's got no emotion, has he? Like his delivery and everything. Like he's always looks dead sad. He always looks dead fucking miserable. He's got a great poker face, but I think it's just the Manchester thing, to be honest. Fuck you, Dave. He's Bolton. So, but did you not think that? I really think that, like, even when he's the one who says no at the altar. Yeah. I genuinely was surprised she said yeah, but when he was talking to her in the bedroom, and he was like saying as if like they were going to be fine, they're going to reconcile. He was just monotone, like he was talking to like a wife or a husband of someone whose partner had died, and he's trying to console them and everything. It was just totally void of any compassion, I thought.
Yeah, I'm feeling slightly personally attacked, actually. Because I wonder if you got me very conscious about my own tone now. I'm wondering
That
if
wasn't my intention.
There. It's okay. We'll be fine.
On the head. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I'd be any different. I think, I'm just trying to think now. Did she actually say yes, or did it not get to that? I'm trying
she said yeah. She said yeah, and then it went to him, and he was like no, and I was like, oh my gosh.
So I kind of feel. I guess I didn't think too deeply about who would say yes, who would say no, but I didn't think these would stay together. I think if I thought a little bit more deeply about it, then I'd have thought it would probably be her to say no. But I don't know. It's definitely the right call for that moment in time. I still don't think really there's going to be anything after that. I think she won't give him the chance to continue that any further. Because it makes you laugh. Is it Tim from The Office said it best when I can't quite remember it well, but it was the Christmas episodes, wasn't it? He was saying, you stop filming, and it's not like my life stops. It still carries on. So they had to make for the show a decision about where they're going to get legally married in that moment, and for them to. There's just such a massive disconnect. He's got his own business, regardless of whether it's a funeral parlor or whatever. His life is set up and stable, and he knows what he wants to do. She's, got her Smash Hits posters up in her bedroom at home. I was joking about last week, wasn't I? She probably doesn't have Smash Hits. Probably Smash Hits isn't a thing anymore, but, she's still 29 and living at home, moaning about having to do the dishes. Well, guess what? When you have your own home, there's a fucking lot more housework to do than just the dishes. So, I thought there was a massive gap between the pair of them and their kind of maturity. Now, they are a great looking couple. They look good together, but just personality wise, just see there's a chasm between them. So, I think I'll be interested from the reunion. I am glad. I mean, I do think the two episodes have not been great, but I am intrigued about particularly this couple where, did they try after? My prediction is no, she won't give him a chance. It's like, fuck you. You had your chance. But ultimately, he had a lot more to lose in that scenario than she did.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And the fallout as well of it all, that was the one thing that got me with her mum and dad and everything. It was just like, I mean, Catherine had a strop at her dad, didn't she? I want to be on my own. You're right, though. They will not be together. I'd be amazed. No. I'm amazed. I mean, the couples we talk about, I can't see anybody who said no being together. I really can't. If you've been rejected at such a high level and that's going to come out on TV or whatever, that's a lot, isn't it? That's a hell of a lot to still love that person and trust them. They're all saying they love each other. This is, I suppose, the test as well. Do they love each other? That is the test of it all, ultimately.
Well, I'm not saying you can't come out of this show, and in the earlier seasons, people haven't they? But certainly if you, like I say, it's a big leap to make that call in, what is it, a month? They spend a couple of weeks in the pods, a few weeks after that, and then they have to fire the gun and say they're going to get legally fucking married together. I think it's a massive jump. And it's like, say, the thing with Benaya when he'd been dumped. He was fucking not even chosen, but he comes back for a reconciliation call with Nicole. And then, I've just fucking happened to have a fucking ring with me and I'm going to propose to you. So, the accelerated nature of the whole show just has me even more skeptical than, say, Love Island, Chris. I can kind of get it. If someone's in there, and even if they're in there for the social media followers as a primary objective, I still think if you're there, if you're one of the OGs, you're in there for a couple of months, you can absolutely develop those feelings and potentially have a relationship after. But with this show, I feel like the bar is even lower. I think the chances of someone actually connecting are less than what it is on a lot of the other shows, including Love Island.
No, so I think you're right, actually. I think that's a good way to analyze it, because also with it being like, when we've done maths and all that sort of thing, it's all about the experiment now, isn't it? Originally, it was the wedding thing. With this is a genuine wedding, so you've got that whole thing. Did they consummate the marriage? And that there has to be an out. But yes, you're probably right. There's probably less chance of these actually making it, because there is a commitment. I mean, you look at, one of the couples that I found really interesting, Dave, and Maria and Tom, was, Tom says no, and I think he's been a bit of a bell end. However, I do feel that what he delivered as his speech was quite sensible, if that makes sense. Because obviously,
he is fucking Captain Sensible, isn't he? So
he is.
I don't think it wasn't that much of a surprise.
No, but I think, and you're right. Yeah, I think though as well that with him, and Maria had said, like, basically she wants to be like a kept woman, and there was her beliefs with his. He was like, if he has a daughter or he has a son, he doesn't want them feeling that they have to go one way or the other. I felt at times it was quite a reason. I never felt these were the right couple. I never felt that there was a spark between him or anything. I felt like he was on it for the fame. She probably is as well, but I felt like he was a bit more obvious. But I did feel that his speech was right, even though I felt sorry for her because she just looked completely isolated. The family were in shock, weren't they? Whether they, so I think that was the right call. But I think it was the right decision. But it is part of the show. We have to watch it. We have to go, oh yeah, who's going to say yes or no? But it is pretty cruel as well. If it was in real life, you'd be absolutely devastated.
Oh, definitely. And the thing is, the families all have to turn up and stuff. Not, some of them can't be asked, but, for a lot of the families, they do have to turn up, and they have to play up that this is a real thing, and it might actually be the real thing. So what a fucking confusing wedding that is. Especially with Maria's family, they were all, made up and stuff, got all the costumes out and whatever. I think not costumes, but fucking the dresses, the fancy dresses that they have on and stuff. And I think she was absolutely surprised, but I'm surprised that she was surprised. I thought this was telegraphed from quite far away, and I don't. With Maria and Tom, I just saw no fucking chemistry whatsoever. Like, a little bit in the pause, sure, but not anything after that. As soon as they sort of interacted together, I just thought they had no chemistry. The main thing I'm going to be interested in for this couple is what happens after. So I am looking forward to the reunion, because Tom, I can't remember the girl's name, the blonde lady. What was her name? Or like you're gonna know. Did they rekindle that?
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm not. And I'm not expecting an answer. Sorry.
I know you know. I know. It caught me off guard. Then I was like, I don't know.
Phone, are you?
I know. I was checking fucking Google, going, "Who the fuck's he talking about?"
Do you remember? So in the bar, because
she came and spoke
to Maria, and then there was this whole thing about, oh, she said she loves me, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure. Did she say that? But she definitely had feelings for him. I think post show, he's going to maybe explore those. There's always, with Love Is Blind, there's always some kind of couple that springs up from the ashes of another couple, isn't there? So that's my prediction there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And that could be one to watch, because she did make a beeline for him, didn't she, in the bar?
Yeah.
So, good call. Now, obviously, I'm saving a couple of the couples for the end of the day, but Stephen and Sabrina said, I don't think there was any doubt. They were the ones that said I'm pretty certain they're going to say yes, no matter whether they're still together or not. It seemed to, the way they talk was very businesslike. She's into sports marketing. He runs a gym. What more could you want? She wanted to commute backwards and forwards from London, and she's still going to have the place in Belfast and that. So I wasn't shocked by them saying that. I might be shocked if they're still together after a year, but I think probably these are one of the more likely couples to still be together at the reunion.
Yeah, and I think because of the hopping back and forth, the biggest question mark is the distance, But because it's a distance thing, I think, could you stretch that out for a year? I'm not sure. I think they'd have a good go for, again, at least 6 months, I would say. But then, would the distance become a problem there? Would it start to force the issue? I mean, these aren't a spring chicken early 20s couple, are they? Is kids going to come up? So would they actually have to, settle down, agree, we're going to settle in London, or maybe you want to settle in Belfast? I mean, again, the kind of beaches and everything, it's a very different lifestyle, isn't it? So, yeah, I think these have got a chance. This is the one couple that you would say, yeah, there's a bit of a chance there. They're both at that same, similar time in life, if you like, and where they are, they're very settled in their careers, and these have got a chance. But this is literally the only couple that I would say has a proper chance longer term.
I think so. One of the couples who did say yes, one of the last two couples, was Bobby and Jasmine, and with her mum, who is the strangest fucking mother I've ever seen, Dave. She's literally controlling her kids, through living her life through her kids. I've never seen anything like it. That whole, when she told Bobby about, she'd go through my phone every night and check any of the numbers I had or text message, if any of them were boys, she'd block him.
Jesus
I'm like,
Christ.
that is fucking terrible. That is awful. And there's a difference between protecting your kid and letting him live and make mistakes. He'd be, by all means, let's all be protective. John's 23. I'm still protective. I'm sure you're the same with yours, Dave. But it's like, that is not healthy. That is not right. And I mean, she did bite back a little bit, Jasmine. But even at the wedding, I was like, fuck off. Her mum is a nightmare. And then I'm thinking, the producers asked her to play this character because it just was unbelievable the way she was with her day. I couldn't get why, if she was so protective and so controlling, how Jasmine's been able to do this show. So my little bit of skepticism was, do you think that they may have played up to it a little bit? She might have been like, when she was younger, they're like, look, we need a storyline. Can we do this and make you look like you're really possessive and you're really obsessed with her and you won't let her breathe and live and all? And I don't know. It's just something was completely off with them. Because if that's real, fuck me, they are going to fall out if these two are still together. I'd be surprised that at the reunion she doesn't say, I've not spoken to him for 12 months.
I suspect they've overemphasized it with the editing. So she probably spoke about lots of things, and like you say, maybe the over controlling stuff was a bit more when she was younger. She was like 13, 14, and I don't know. But yeah, I actually thought in the wedding the mother was a lot more toned down than in the previous episodes. When they had the spotlight on them, you were like, oh fuck me. I know it I think I said last week, it would probably have to be Margot Robbie. that is the level I would have to go to be able to put up with the mother-in-law like that. And even then, I'm not sure. But Bobby didn't seem to be quite as fazed by it. He's probably not as jaded as I am as well. But, I just think, the editors definitely knew what they were doing. They were overemphasizing that. I do think, I think someone had said in our chat that, there is a cultural thing there. The degree is a big thing, having that education behind you. So for Bobby not to have one, that is kind of a big deal. And I think you actually answered your own question by Jasmine being on this show shows that her mother doesn't have all of that control on her, so that it'll still be there. It will never fully go away. But I think Jasmine's quite headstrong as well. So I don't, I think these are a social media couple, 6 months tops. But, I think the mother thing was just played up a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the right call, to be honest. So I purposely saved these for last, Dave. So Ollie and Demi. Now, one thing we didn't talk about, me and you, we had our episode on ADHD, and that Ollie mentions to her that he has got ADHD, and he'd been in a previous relationship, and it'd been over a year or so before he'd even mentioned it, to his partner at the time. And the way that he has been, the way he's acted, and that it has been just purely for the show. I felt like too cool for school. He was dead smooth when he was saying the right things as it went on. Initially, you could see his first words was like, "I think you're really attractive, no matter what anyone else thinks." It's like, what fucking sort of words are they? That stuck with me a lot since we first met him. But then as it's gone on, she's got a good family. She's really close to her dad. Her mum and dad are there, brothers and sisters. He's close with his family. And I was shocked, Dave, that it was her who said no. I thought it was going to be him. I thought she was all in. And then he even sort of accepted it, like, saying, well, I still love her. They're the only ones, I think by her saying no, there's a chance they could still be together. But I think his ego and he'd be wounded. I'm really, really looking forward to the finale, because I wasn't expecting to say no, but I do ultimately think it's probably the right decision as well.
I agree. I didn't think these two would stay together, but I thought it would be him saying no to her. Now, you could tell by his shock, he was going to go through with it. But I think it's absolutely the right call. And I suppose I was saying there were no surprises. Yeah, you're right. The fact that she said no, it wasn't the biggest shock in the world. It wasn't like we were saying about season 1 of the US version. It wasn't like that, but it kind of made sense. And I thought this was the best story, actually, out of the whole 2 episodes. In fact, probably the whole season, because you could see that Demi really liked him, but she knew, really, and we could all see it. Ollie just didn't fancy her. That was the thing. And the words that he used were all the right words. He was very cool. Didn't really put a foot wrong, I think. I think whatever the motivations for doing that were, I don't think he really did that much wrong. I mean, that wording that you just said there is fucking horrendous, really. It's like, I don't care about this thing that you want to be self-conscious of. But I thought the fact that she knew her self-worth, she knew that deep down he wasn't really that into it, and so she was going to be the one to say no. So I would be amazed if they're still together. I think, it might be out of stubbornness, but I think it's okay to just admit that there is no attraction between them. Or I just don't think he fancies her, and it's been clear since they met outside the pods.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. So, Dave, before the finale, and I know we've done all this, do you think we're going to get any shocks? Do you think it's just going to be, there'll be a couple that are not together, or do you think anybody's going to be together, or anybody's rekindled their love? Because no, I don't think anybody's going to rekindle. I think the ones who said no are going to still not be together.
The only doubt I've got in my mind is Ollie going to be so kind of stubborn? Like, he's going to, after being jilted by Demi, is he going to actually try and rekindle it? So even though he doesn't fancy her, he's been kind of rejected by her. So is he going to go, oh, well, we're going to at least give this a go after the show? But yeah, I don't think it would last for much longer after that. I said about Tom, I think Tom might turn up with the blonde lady. I think what I'm hoping for the reunion is just this left field, fucking scandal that we had no idea about. Or I wouldn't be that surprised if there was something like, Catherine and Sam maybe got together, after that nightclub. Oh, it wasn't a nightclub, that bar conversational, something like that we just didn't really see, just kind of hinted at. But that's what I'm hoping for. But I'm definitely, at the bare minimum I'm hoping for, Chris, is that I enjoyed the reunion a lot more than these last 2 episodes.
Yeah, me too. And then also, Dave, before we get into the wrap up and that, we are going to be covering, I've got you into it, haven't I? I've got you into Celebs Go Dating. I've been saying for ages, I wanted you to watch it because of Rob Beckett. It's the commentator. It's just an absolute fucking legend. He just takes the piss out of everyone, and it's great. But you are all in. So we're going to do a Patreon episode, aren't we? As a thank you to all our patrons. So we'll be releasing that at some point this week, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll cover the first week. But I tell you what, Chris, I am all fucking in. I
knew you would be.
Completely fucking in. I mean, I've always liked Rob Beckett. Especially when he laughs, it's just so infectious. He just has this massive belly laugh. I've even gone back. I've started watching Taskmaster season 3, which is one that he's in as well. But yeah, I'm like, holy shit! How have I mean, have you watched the previous seasons? Because there's like 14. Yeah. This is the 14th season, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
watch them all.
Like, fucking hell. So I will be binging the fuck out of that. I mean, it'll probably take me a long time, but I'm like, oh, fucking yes. But I just love, you're right. The thing that makes it is him. I mean, he takes the piss to a level. I mean, I wouldn't say quite like we do, but we're very much in that same ballpark. And I love how he just doesn't seem to hold back, and he's so fucking funny. He's definitely one of my favorite comedians, and I can't believe I've gone all this time without realizing. I went back to season 1, and yeah, he fucking does season 1. He's right there from the start. So yeah, I am fully in on Celebs Go Dating.
Been dying. I'm so pleased. But anyway, yeah. I'm so, honestly, because you've got everything.
I will just say, right, spoiler alert, that fucking goggle bollocks dick will fucking get a rocket when it comes to time to recording, because what an almighty knob. But yeah, I'm sure we'll go into that. You can tell I'm fizzing, I'm seizing, I'm raring to go with this one.
So we are going to record that. We've been a bank holiday. We'll probably get that done pretty soon, but we'll release it this week. But anyway, massive thank you to everyone who supports the podcast. Our patrons, everyone past and present, we do appreciate it. It's, get over to patreon.com/CD RealityCast if you want to support us. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @CDRealityCast. And as always, please get over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. All the show links are on there. All the chat is amazing on the Facebook Messenger chat. It's really good fun. There is spoilers in there, not on the main page now. So if you do want to talk about the shows, please get in there. There's various links. Love Island, Love is Blind. Challenge does a great job of creating all them different groups, and everyone's just has so much fun. So we really appreciate the massive community that we've got now. Everyone's just so nice and helping each other and chatting, and it's really, really good fun. So the roll call of honor, and a massive thank you today to Marcy, Stacey, Sinead, Kathleen, Sims, Andrea, Nick, Danielle, Kim, Amanda, Larissa, Helen, Nicola, Fiona, Maggie, Zoe, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, Joanna, Libby, Susan, Hennessy, Tracy, Lauren, Lucky Lily Green, and Kent Gustafson. So thank you so much, guys. That list just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we really appreciate everyone who supports myself and Dave.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir. So, yep, we'll get the Celebs Go Dating episode done, and at some point this week we'll reflect on the reunion as well and get that out on the main feed and figure out, okay, what are we going to do for our follow-up show after this one. So thank you very much, sir, for covering these episodes for Love is Blind. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.